Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, beautiful souls, beauty makers. This is your weekly dose of sanity, and welcome. My name is Janina Riccio. I'm president of Yes to Yum Whole Studio, and I am here to help design professionals be more sane, happy, and prosperous while you crush it in business, whatever crushing means for you. So, in my work as a business advisor and a coach, we work on the human messiness and the operational messiness that comes along with being a human and running a business. I love focusing on the inside job, what's going on in here, the self-sabotage, the mindset that's holding you back, and helping you build mental fitness to deal with everything that life and business has to throw at us. And, I often say what you all do is part technical, part artistic, and part magical. And my work is the same. So in these sessions, we're going to dip into each of those buckets. Just so you know a little bit about me, I'm a lifelong learner and devotee of personal growth. I'm a student of neuroscience and also energy medicine. I have a master's certification in intuition medicine. I've also got an MBA, a degree in interior design, and over 3 decades of varied work experience, marketing, finance, owning a business, project management, design, all of it. And I call this dose of sanity because so many of the ways that we respond to work and life actually are not sane. They're cuckoo. They're reactive, rushed, and fueled by pressure and urgency. Um, that's a sure sign of your saboteurs. Oxford defines sanity as reasonable, sensible thinking. So that's what we're practicing here. Nothing super fancy, just coming back to ourselves and reasonable, sensible thinking. So take a breath, all is well, and you've got this week, I promise. And each week we're going to start with some sort of a grounding or a mindfulness moment. Just get you in your chair and a little more focused. Then I'm going to share, a simple tool or something you can incorporate all week into your business to smooth things out. And I really want you to think of all these things as play, like try them out with curiosity, without, expectation, let go of the outcome and just be like, if I try that thing Janine talked about, what changes or maybe what doesn't? Because not all these tools are for everybody, but I'd love for you to experiment with a spirit of playfulness because we have enough to do. Um, we don't want to add more to that to-do list, but these tools are meant to help you to help quell that sense of overwhelm. And okay, so for today, I thought a few weeks ago, we did a whole session on color and meditating on a color. So today I thought I would walk you through a short guided meditation um, with a color, and you get to pick the color. But you're not going to pick it with your thinker. You're going to pick it with your intuition. I'll tell you how to do that. So close your eyes if that's comfortable. Otherwise, just gaze down. Sit with your feet flat on the floor, legs uncrossed. Notice the weight of your seat in the chair. Sit with your spine straight. Doesn't have to be super rigid, but not hunched. Straight, ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips, crown of your head reaching for the sky. And just take a few slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose to the count of 4, and exhale out your mouth to the count of 4 or more. So often we don't exhale fully. Really, like pull in your belly to empty out those lungs till there's no more air to come out. Another deep breath down into your belly to the count of 4. You can make a sigh sound if you want. Nobody's going to hear you if you're muted. Do that again. A nice deep inhale through your nose, down, filling up your belly, really swirling that beautiful breath anywhere that you feel like it needs it. And then just let it all out. And then just return to your normal breathing pattern. Maybe it's a little slower than usual. Just notice. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest or stomach. And really start to come into this space. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the temperature of the air. Notice the feeling of your clothes against your skin. Notice your feet on the floor. Notice the weight of your body in your chair. Do a quick scan of your body head to toe and notice if there's any sensations or things going on in any parts of your body. Loosen up that jaw. Let your shoulders drop, shoulder blades going down your back. Notice if you're clenching in your stomach, or I clench in my hips a lot. Just get a little 10% looser, 10% more relaxed, 10% calmer. And now, trusting the absolute very first thing that comes into your mind, I want you to think about a color. And you have to pick the first thing. That's your intuition. Don't be like, oh, I hate that color, or why did I pick that color, or that's a silly color. Don't judge it. Don't analyze it. Don't let your thinker get into you need to pick some other color. Just trust that that is what you need right now. And I want you to imagine a beautiful, warm pool in front of you that is, the water is completely that color. It is exactly the right temperature as you like it. It is calm and clear, crystalline, totally inviting. The sun is glinting off the surface. And you are just going to step all the way into that pool of that special color of water that your intuition chose for you today, because it's what you need. You can go back to the color video and read about what the different colors, or listen about what the different colors are good for, and maybe see what your body and mind wanted you to be engulfed in today. So you're slipping just ever so slowly, or maybe you're diving into this beautiful pool of water and just surrounded by this color. Maybe this color is even in the air. And imagine every cell of your body is vibrating with this color. Every cell, your bones, your muscles, your hair and skin cells, your organs, all of it, just completely immersed. And notice, just check in with your body. See what's going on. How do you feel? Do you feel calm? Do you feel energized? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel happy? Do you feel curious, excited, light, expansive? And you can move around the pool, kind of wave your arms around, maybe tread a little water. You can dunk yourself in the pool and stay underwater if you want, if that is a happy experience for you. Just be one with this beautiful color. Great. And you can stay there or you can come on out. The sun will be warm and it's still the perfect temperature outside. You won't be cold when you leave this water, and you can decide what the ground is. Is it grass? Is it a beach? Is it a poolside? Is it a deck? Whatever you want it to be, just lie down there And let that color integrate. Maybe now you see yourself ensconced in a bubble of that color, and that bubble is grounded all the way to the center of the earth. And open your eyes when you feel ready. Great. You can stay laying there with your eyes closed if you want and just listen to me. So, we've talked about your saboteurs. You've heard me talk quite a bit about your saboteurs, the negative patterns of your survival brain that sabotage your performance, your relationships, and your well-being. And these patterns are driven by fear and were actually created as survival strategies based on your greatest strengths when you were young. So there is some good there. But today we are not talking saboteurs. Yay! Instead, we are going to focus on the solution, not the problem, and that is the sage perspective. So the sage is the wise, calm, compassionate, creative part of your brain. The sage is your true essence, your highest self that unfortunately has been kind of glommed over for decades by beliefs, that saboteur energy, that survival energy, past experiences, other people's gunk. Um, so we're gonna wake up that beautiful being, that sage, which we already did a little bit with that color meditation. Your sage brain is listening a lot more now, and you're open to the message more than those saboteurs. And the sage perspective is the crux of a positive mindset. And it's simple and profound, but not so easy all the time. And that is that any situation can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. I'll say that again. Any situation or circumstance can be turned into a gift or opportunity. Like I said, simple but profound, right? And your judge saboteur is already freaking out, telling you that's a lie and she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's trying to think of the worst possible thing that could never be considered a gift or an opportunity. Don't listen to it. That's the judge. And all your saboteurs, they're threatened by the sage perspective because it makes them obsolete. Now, some of you have probably heard the stallion story, and I'll try to go through it quickly. And it's an ancient Chinese parable about a farmer and his stallion, prize stallion, and his son. And so he has this prize stallion, and word gets out in the countryside, and some thieves hear about it, and the stallion gets stolen. And all of his neighbors come by with the hand wringing and, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is terrible. Your stallion got stolen. Like, what are you going to do? And he just says, is it good or is it bad? I don't know. So a little time goes by, and that crafty stallion manages to get away from its captors, finds its way home, and it picks up a couple of mares along the way. Now everyone's rejoicing, like, yay, the stallion's back, and you've got these two extra mares. What a gift. This is amazing. And the farmer just says, who knows if it's good or if it's bad? And his neighbors think that's kind of odd, but they go on their way. Farmer's always been a little quirky. And the farmer's son decides, I'm going to ride that stallion now that it's back home. Well, he gets thrown from the horse, breaks a leg. And now here come the neighbors with the hand wringing again, like, oh, I'm so sorry, your son. Is his leg going to heal? He can't help you in the field. What are you going to do? This is the worst thing that could happen. And the farmer just says, who knows what's good and what's bad? And wouldn't you know, shortly thereafter, a war breaks out in the country where the farmer lives. And around comes like the army guard, and they're enlisting all the young men of the country. But guess what? The farmer's son has a broken leg, so he can't go. And now, once again, the neighbors come and they say, hallelujah, this is fantastic. Your son didn't have to go to war. And the farmer just says, who knows what's good and what's bad? So you get the idea. And hear me out. Um, you may think this is Pollyanna thinking, but it's really not. So first, how much better do you feel if you believe something happens that is bad, right? And you believe, well, there's a gift or an opportunity in here somewhere versus I'm doomed and this sucks. Just notice, just take a moment. I'm going to be quiet. Notice your body when you say both of those things. Notice how you feel. Again, there's a gift or opportunity in here somewhere. And then I'm doomed. This is awful. This is the worst thing that could happen. I'll give you a moment. Say them out loud or your version of that, whatever your version would be. All right. So probably felt a little ickier or the energy went when you say the I'm doomed, right? So second, notice the words turned into in the sage perspective. This isn't like the farmer who was just kind of letting life happen and waiting for the next thing. With the sage perspective, you get to take action, clear-headed, laser-focused action, and this gives you agency. You are not a victim of circumstance. This is empowerment. You get to decide how you show up and what you're going to do next. Do you want to feel like you're doomed or do you want to feel like there's some opportunity? Third thing is that choosing the sage perspective guarantees that you will grow in either knowledge, power, or inspiration. So turning that situation into a gift or opportunity will require either some new knowledge that you can then use to fix the problem and use later, right? Or growing one of your sage powers, which you don't know what those are, but they're things like empathy, curiosity, and creativity. Or it's going to ignite some sort of inspiration to take a bold step. And a really two extreme examples of this are the mom whose daughter was killed by a drunk driver who started Mothers Against Drunk Drivers and, really greatly reduced the amount of drunk driving and deaths from drunk drivers. Or like Christopher Reeve, debilitating spinal cord injury, right? Paralyzed from the neck down, where he, toward the end of his life, said that was the greatest gift he'd ever gotten. Okay. So now, one thing to note about that, creating the gift isn't always immediate. For smaller things, it can be. For the weightier situations, it might take longer to create the gift, like with Christopher Reeve. I'm doubting he wasn't feeling grateful the first week, month, or even year after his injury. Like it took time, and that's okay because you work toward a goal or challenge. When you do, you're engaged in something bigger than you and something more positive instead of wallowing in self-pity. And which would you rather do? Remember, your energy is contagious too, and we've already agreed the sage perspective creates more positive energy. So there will be ripple effects to everyone around you. And like attracts like in the energy world. So if you're relaxed and positive and creative, you're going to attract more of that. And vice versa. That's the bad news. So as an example, I had a designer client who also had a furniture and a fabric showroom. She was just about breaking even with the showroom part of the business. And twice in 3 months, the showroom flooded really poorly, really badly due to some faulty plumbing in the building. No fault of her own or anyone who worked there. And she and her staff had to spend days each time cleaning up and, packing up stuff and making sure it wasn't damaged. And once it was even over the New Year's Eve. So that's pretty crummy, right? And after the second time, it would be pretty hard not to start a pity party. But she realized this was her opportunity to get out of that space that was one, too big, too expensive, or over her budget, and she had a lousy landlord. So she quickly recognized the opportunity and took action. She found a smaller space that suited her budget better. And they ended up sharing this space with another firm who they loved and who made a great, like, collaboration partner. It worked out better than she ever dared to imagine. Another architecture client I had outgrown their office manager and needed someone with much higher level skills to support the business that had grown significantly since this person was hired. They were worried about how letting the current office manager go would impact the staff morale because they had been around for a long time. They were worried about that person's reaction and even concerned about potential like legal things due to their age and status. Um, but in the end, when they talked with this person, that person actually kind of wanted out and didn't know how to say. Um, so they were able to have a amicable parting, and they found a fabulous new office manager that was like more than they could have imagined. Um, so that's just a couple of examples. And to wrap up, the sage perspective, again, is that any situation or circumstance can be turned into a gift or opportunity. And again, your saboteurs will try to drag you down in a negative spiral. And however, you have the power to choose a more positive response and create the gift. You are always in choice. Just remember that. Nobody's making you have a pity party. That's your choice. Even if you don't totally believe it yet, just try it on for the next week and see how things shift. Be a fascinated anthropologist, put on your pith helmet and go in and be like, how is this going to work? Does it work? Like you're doing an experiment, or put on your lab coat and be the lab scientist. And please let me know how it goes. And please don't expect yourself to do this perfectly at first. Um, all of this is a process and things that we can just test out and repeat and practice and get better and better. I really hope you can try this even on one situation. Oh, yeah, and start small. Don't pick the biggest, hardest challenge going on in your life and business right now to try the sage perspective with. Try it with the little things. Um, so, as always, thank you so much for participating today and for taking 30 minutes for yourself and for your business. These videos will be posted on my YouTube channel, which is at Janina Riccio, Y, number two, Y. Um, so you can revisit them at any time over and over. And while you're there, please like and subscribe. And as you head into your week, remember, all is well, and you've got this. And I've got your back.